Welcome to Unafraid Living, the podcast that helps you fear less and live more. I'm Kim. I'm here to ask the questions you're probably thinking.
And I'm Coach Suzette, a certified brain health professional and life coach. I'm passionate about helping you quiet fear, build confidence, and live the life you truly want. Hey friends, Suzette here, your brain health professional. If fear or anxiety has been ruining your life lately, our Unafraid course was built for you. The Unafraid course helps you retrain your brain to move out of fear and into resilience, one small shift at a time with proven, practical, and simple tools. Affordable options let you work at your own pace or join me in our private community, all for less than most therapy sessions. No more excuses. Be your own advocate and sign up for the course at unafraidcourse.com to start rewiring your brain today.
Welcome to episode 2. Woo, we made it. This time we are going to start a series on virtues. But before we get to that, how's your brain?
My brain? I'm doing a brain check-in?
Yeah.
I just had a really rough morning. I got some news from a friend that was hard, and I'm kind of grieving right now, grieving with her. And so I would say grief isn't a bad thing. As a matter of fact, it's a really healthy thing for your brain. But to say that I'm top notch, thinking my best, doing my best, maybe that's not quite true today.
Right.
But by the same token, I've got lots of tools in my tool chest. So I think I can move through it and do well. And that's kind of what this podcast is about, right? Is
yes,
helping us to have tools in our back pocket that we can pull out and use when we need them the most. How's your brain doing, Kim?
Thanks for asking. Actually, I have been sleeping a little better lately.
Nice.
So I feel like it's a little clearer and I'm thinking a little better than I have been.
Oh, sleep is such a big thing for brain health.
Absolutely. And I've been struggling to sleep well. So this has been really nice.
Good. Yay.
We are doing a virtue series, and let's talk about why it matters. First of all, a virtue is a quality considered morally good or desirable in a person. Looking at how integrity affects the life, brain health, and unafraid living is what this podcast is about.
Right. I think it's really important to know that we're not here. I mean, people have called me Mrs. Rogers because I'm all about, let's be kind. Let's be nice to each other. That's how I raised my kids. And they have honestly wonderful lives in their adult life. But part of the reason that I love this series is because our brains are truly affected by what we adopt, how we decide to live. So are we going to live a virtuous life with integrity or with kindness or with love or compassion or all the different things? And the series, actually, it's a pretty long series. I don't know if we'll actually do all of them or not, but having fun, that actually can be a virtue, because what we do affects our brain and how we think is so huge. So let's think about this. Like, what is the definition of integrity? Well, it's alignment, right? It's alignment where our actions and our values match up. And when our actions and our values match up, our prefrontal cortex lights up. We make better decisions. We have a calmer brain. And misalignment means that we're being disingenuous or not in integrity. So we have inner chaos and anxiety and stress.
Wait. Before we go any further.
Yeah.
What is prefrontal cortex?
Okay. Well, first of all, we don't even have to understand the brain to know that we can change our brain. And what we'll talk about mostly on this podcast is how to change your brain, not the actual mechanics of how things work. I think a lot of people get caught up in, the amygdala does this and the prefrontal cortex does this. And I will talk about those some. But when you really start talking about the brain and the thalamus and all the different parts of the brain and how they interact, it is very, very complex.
Oh, yes.
So to take one thing and say this is what it does kind of minimizes the different functions of the brain. And it's so interrelated. But I will tell you what the
Okay.
prefrontal cortex is. It's like the CEO of your brain. It's in charge of making good decisions or maybe not good decisions. It helps you solve problems, and it can help you hit pause before you say something you really wish you hadn't, or do something, some kind of reckless action that you will regret. So when it's functioning well, when your prefrontal cortex is functioning well, it helps you also with emotional regulation. So keeping you calm so you can think clearly, helps you feel good about your choices. And your brain, it's like a reward system too. When everything lines up and your choices line up with your values, you can actually get hits of dopamine, which is great too. Everybody talks about dopamine a lot, so we're not going to go there right now, but it's a great thing.
Awesome. What I'm hearing you say is integrity means sticking to your word, living what you say.
Yeah, it is that. Certainly, that's definitely part of it. But I would say it's bigger than just keeping your promises.
Okay.
The root word of integrity is whole or complete. So that fits right in with my company's name. Coaching for Holy Living is the name of the company. You might wonder where that Unafraid comes from. And the Unafraid is the course that I developed. So the two things go hand in hand, though. So when we are in integrity, all of our beliefs and all of our values line up. So we're living in this way that even when nobody's watching, we are strengthening our neural pathways because we are being the person that we say we are, that we want to be. And the more that you act in integrity, the more you strengthen those neural pathways. You get more mentally fit.
Is this the same for everybody?
I will say it's bigger than honesty. It's wholeness, okay? So wholeness, words, actions, beliefs, all lining up. You know, I'm thinking about, like, how are people thinking about this? If it's the opposite, what is the opposite? Think about, like, if you were to say that you were really health conscious, but you are constantly every night indulging in a big bowl of ice cream right before bed. That brings with it this, like, even if nobody knows, you've got this, like, little bit of stress or inner guilt because you know it's not what you're thinking. So that over time, it chips away at who you want to be and your integrity. So you chip away at your confidence because you're going against your core values.
Right.
And you're asking about, like, are the core values the same for everyone? Well, there are some basic core values that are pretty much the same for, I would say, all good people.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter your religion or your culture. Good people share honesty, fairness, compassion, responsibility. So if you're in a team, working on a team, doing the things you say you're going to do, pulling your weight, respect, kindness. It's interesting because these are things that are universal, really. So it helps our brains to have more clarity, less stress, less anxiety when we are living with these basic virtues. Here's the thing. The basic ones, yes, they're pretty much the same for everyone, but then there are some other core values that are because of your individual wiring. So whether you really value security or adventure, those things are important for you. So if you really value adventure, but you're sitting at home playing video games all the time and not, you're just vicariously playing out adventure on the screen, that's not the same thing. And so you will have more stress and anxiety if you are not living out that adventure. Well, it's not the same for a person whose security is their core value.
Right.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
What happens if we are not living with integrity?
Great question. Life tanks. Literally, life tanks. It's harder to have good friends. It's a place where we stop trusting ourselves and we feel unsettled. We're prone to have anxiety and depression.
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah, it really is tough. The amygdala starts firing up. We have all this cortisol. We feel anxious and unsettled and just irritable.
Do we need to get into the amygdala?
We don't have to, no.
See, I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Amygdala. I see how living out of alignment would cause you to lose trust in yourself as well as probably others, just because it kind of bleeds through.
Sure.
It will hurt your confidence. And of course, long term, I know there's got to be things that happen when you're not living in integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely are. The brain fog, the poor sleep, the disconnection. Not saying, you mentioned poor sleep earlier, but there's many, many reasons that poor sleep can be a thing. Disconnection from others.
Yeah, that's probably the worst one.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
How do you start making changes to gain that integrity back?
Good news. There's some really good news, because it feels overwhelming at first when you go, oh, I don't like how I'm being right now. Or I don't like how I am. I want to change. I don't like this person that I've become. But the great news is that your prefrontal cortex, we did mention that, so I'm going to stick on that. It can actually calm you down because you're making wise choices. It's like when you make it your friend, and it helps you then to make the wise choices, telling you you're safe. It helps you to decide to think things through instead of always acting on impulse. It helps you to choose actions that match your values and strengthen the neural pathways. So when you decide that you want integrity or to live in any virtue, then you rely on that CEO to help you come back to the place you want to be. But you really have to get in touch with it and listen to the wisdom that you have if you're looking for it.
Okay, so practically, give us some tips. How do we get there?
Yeah, that's good. That's good, because until you have a practical way to change things, it's hard.
Exactly, because I can sit around thinking, oh, I want to change myself, but if I don't know how, then it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just kind of walk through this a little bit, and stop me along the way if something's not making sense. Naming your values, writing them down, because like you said, we can think about things all day long, but until we write them down, most of the time we haven't really thought clearly about what we really want in life. And don't be afraid to write down the things that you really want, because that's what's important to you. And people ask, can your values change over the course of time? Yes and no. So yes, as we age, go back to adventure. If adventure is something you're really valuing when you're in your teens or early 20s, but then you have a child and you think, I used to want to do helicopter skiing, when they drop you off at the top of the mountain. And then you go, I don't want to do that right now. I'm a dad now, or I'm a mom now, and I don't want to risk my life like that right now. Thinking through that and then going, okay, but is adventure still really important to me? Or was it just that I wanted to do helicopter skiing? Because if adventure is still really important, then you need to figure out some other ways to make that happen without such risk. But it may be that was something you wanted to do, but it's not necessarily a real core value. So writing them down makes you think through what things are very important to you.
Right now.
Okay. Doing a daily check-in and thinking about, at the end of the day, did my choices today reflect the values that I wrote down? So I would recommend writing down the ones that are universal, the kindness, because those things, I think, sometimes are the hardest ones to actually live in, to make happen all the time. Oh, yeah. I mean, isn't it just way easier to snap back when somebody says something that offends you, or you take the wrong way, even if their heart was pure and they meant it well. But if we take something the wrong way, to snap back, and that's not living in integrity. Living in integrity is taking a moment to think about did they mean that in a hurtful way? And if they did, ask them about it. If you think that they actually meant that to hurt you, ask them about it, talk it out. So yeah, the daily check-in can be very, very helpful because you can look back and say, okay, I did really well here and here, but over here, I need to think about that some more and decide, how do I need to react? How do I want to react so that integrity is flowing? So making small promises to yourself as you look through how you did today is a good thing. Helps you build credibility with yourself and builds your self-worth. And then when you realize that, oh, you know what? I just really snapped back and bit the head off someone, and I don't know if they meant it to hurt me. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I don't know what they meant, but I know I didn't mean to hurt them. Apologizing quickly and not being so concerned that they apologize too, just making sure that we're doing the right thing. And I think that's one of the things that is so great about living in integrity. When we live in integrity, our community grows. Our circle of people grows because people don't want to be around people who are not living in integrity. I mean, maybe unless you're in a crime ring or something like that, right?
Hopefully not.
Right. Yeah, they're not listening to this. Unless they want to change, and that would be a great thing. And yes, there is hope.
I assume you have gone through these tips that you gave us, these writing it down and checking in and making promises. And because I know you live in integrity. Did you go through this, and did you notice that you were off, and how did you realign?
Oh, so many times. So many times. It's, life is just a growing process, and we're never going to be perfect. But growing all the time and making things right when they're not is so important and so huge for mental fitness. So I think maybe an example would help you understand like one of those times. I could sit here all day and tell you, but how about this one? Taking on something, I like to say yes when I can, and sometimes I need to say no. And so taking on a project that I really shouldn't have, and then realizing immediately how stressed out it was making me, and then realizing, oh my word, I'm so stressed out. I don't have enough time for this. And it's affecting the quality of what I'm doing, and that hurts the team. So realizing it quickly and stepping back, letting people know that I overcommitted, I'm sorry, and saying, if you want me to keep doing this because you need me to, then I can, but this is my level. This is what you're going to get. And just being honest about that. Or saying, I am very willing to let this go. And I've had to do this, I've had to do this and say, I can let this go and let someone who has the time, the energy, the motivation, the passion to do it, because they will they will do it better. So that's one way.
Okay, so saying no sometimes is integrity.
Yes, I would say absolutely saying no is integrity sometimes. But then also, when we realize we've said yes when we shouldn't, integrity helps us to make it right.
What is one simple step that our listeners can take away with them this week?
I think just the talking points to the quick value check. Choose one small thing to do. So whether it's saying no, whether it's apologizing, whether it's following through, something that you want to do so that you're living in integrity. And then also, each time that you make a change in the right direction, congratulate yourself because you are making a change in the neural pathways in your brain, and those build up over time. So making those good decisions over and over again literally changes the neural pathways in our brain in a good way.
Before we finish this episode, I'd love for you to tell our listeners something that they need to know or hear.
Start where you are. No shame, no guilt. Start where you are. No comparison. Integrity is a choice that you're going to make daily, sometimes moment to moment. Sometimes you're not going to get it right, and that's okay. So give yourself a lot of grace, but keep moving in the right direction. And then lastly, just know for a fact that you are the editor-in-chief of your life, and you have the power at any moment to begin rewriting your script. So whether you've lived with integrity or not, you can, from this day forward, live in integrity when you make that decision to do so. So the virtue effect on the brain is mental fitness, and that's what I wish for everyone.
Thank you again for joining us. We hope you're walking away with something that helps you feel a little calmer, a little more confident, and a lot more free.
And if you're ready to go beyond just listening and start living unafraid, come join me in the Unafraid course. You'll find all the details at unafraidcourse.com.
And follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And be sure to check all the show notes for any links.
Your brain is listening, so fear less. Keep calm, live more, and listen on.